All right, let's let the video transmission go live. All right, boys. I don't have any champagne. Let's put it up. Let's have a cheers. We are finally out of the Adam Gase era. Unfortunately, probably out of the Sam Darnold era as well. I was rooting really hard for Sam to have a really good game today. So let's address that first. I really loved the pick of Sam Darnold. I really, really like Sam a lot. I wish him nothing but the best. But I am not rolling with Sam next year. It was not a good game. I mean, not that you could really judge him based on this one performance, but on the whole year, what do you wind up having? Like 9 touchdowns and like 11 interceptions or something like that. I am so glad this season is finally over. It has been a hell of a year to try and be upbeat about this whole thing. V-Man says, at least we made New England's draft pick worse. Yeah, hey, that is the positive. That is a glass half full mentality. I love it. But boys, I'm going to cheers you. So let's go over a little bit about Adam Gase's coaching career. In 5 years as a head coach, he has been outscored by 558 points. In 36 of his 49 losses, they have come by double digits. So 36 of 49, we have lost by at least 10 times. By at least 10 points. That's Miami 3 years, us 2 years. Career wins, 27 of his 32 have come by 1 score. This guy does not blow out teams, and he doesn't lose close games. He gets fucking blown the hell out. Oh, man. I cannot tell you how good it's going to feel to no longer have this guy anywhere near this team. Little things on the game. I'm more upset than anything else. I don't like that Becton went down with an ankle. I don't like that Mims went out with, I believe, what they're deeming might be a concussion. Herndon had himself a nice little game. I don't know what his stats were offhand. Let me pull those up real quick. So Herndon, 7 receptions, 63 yards, and a touchdown. I thought he looked pretty good. There was the nice play to Perriman at the start of the half. But that's about all she wrote. The Sam Darnold winds up going 23 of 34, 266 yards, a touchdown, and 2 interceptions. And I don't want to harp too much on the game. I know it's the post game and whatnot, but I'd like to talk about some of the other stuff that's going on, some things we're excited about. I want to get your opinions on some things. Multiples coming through. I'll get yours up on the screen in just a second. I just want to have it load over here, and then I'll pop it up for you. But yeah, there's a lot of things to be hopeful for this offseason. This is one of the more exciting off seasons that I've been able to be a part of. So I'm looking forward to all the cap space. I'm looking forward to all the draft picks. I'm looking forward to head coaching search. If I'm being very early on in this process, I know they'll interview a bunch of guys, and we've heard rumors, one way or the other. But if I had to guess, our next head coach is going to be Greg Roman. He's going to come in. The Jets are going to draft Justin Fields. For those of you that don't know who Greg Roman is the offensive coordinator for the Baltimore Ravens. He has worked under Jim Harbaugh. He has been under, in the Baltimore coaching family, since Joe Douglas was there. So he was the offensive line coach when Joe Douglas was the offensive line scout. So the connection's really strong with them. I think learning under both Harbaugh brothers is impressive. He did some very impressive things. He's one of the most efficient offenses in the NFL. Basically every time he goes to a different stop. So you're talking Kaepernick, Tyrod Taylor, Alex Smith, Lamar Jackson, all had success. I think Fields is probably going to be the pick if Greg Roman is the head coach. I would say you could look for the Jets to bring in Gus Edwards, the running back from Baltimore, as a rotational piece to work with probably P. Ryan and Ty Johnson, if I had to guess. We'll see. I don't know. there was a tweet earlier from Adam Schefter. He's like, oh, the Jets are going to be a part of a really big offseason trade. I was like, all right, yeah. Matt said it best in our halftime show. He goes, oh, yeah, today's news, sun is rising. Like, the Jets are either holding on to Sam Darnold and trading out a number 2, or they're going to take the quarterback and trade Sam Darnold. They're going to trade Sam Darnold. That's absolutely what is going to happen. There's no part of me that believes Sam's going to be here in any capacity next year. I saw a few interesting conversations that people were having online, like who holds more trade value, Sam Darnold or Carson Wentz. It's tough to say, because Wentz has been the better quarterback for sure, but his contract is abysmal. I would say the Jets probably hold a little more trade value with Sam. Not by a whole heck of a lot, but, something. All right, Multiples says, just got home from work to see the Jets lose and the Browns make the playoffs. If the Browns can make it, we can turn it around, draft Wilson, hire Brady. So now that the Bucks and the Browns have both made the playoffs, the Jets are now the longest playoff drought, longest current active playoff drought. So 2010 was the last time we were there. Yeah, not great. Definitely not great. We stink. This has been a rough season. Now, what do we think happens from here? I want to get your thoughts. Am I totally off base on saying Greg Roman? Do we think it's going to be someone else? I know that the head coach from Florida was being rumored to be interested in the job. I think it's Dan Mullen is his name. I don't know enough about him. I've heard good things from Florida. Like they think he's not turned the program around, but left the program better than what he got it with. I guess that's all you can ask for. If you could ask for more than what you came in with, it's good. But this has been terrible. We draft Sam so high, and we're all excited. I know I was very much on the Sam's going to break all our career passing records. I thought he really had a shot to do it. Now, that said, whoever our next quarterback is, I'm probably going to say the same thing. I think as long as you have a halfway decent, like if we have a top 15 quarterback in the NFL and they play all 16 games, they're going to break all our passing records. It's only 30 touchdowns and 4,000 and, a little bit of change yards. So it's not a crazy stretch with me saying that. Yeah, so I don't know. It's tough for me to get upset about this game. It was nice to go into the game and be like, I don't want to say excited, but hey, the worst thing that happens is the Jets win and the Patriots get a slightly better first round pick. Yeah, I don't know. I'm just glad I didn't have any stress going into this game at all. All right. Kevin says, is he actually fired yet or no? I haven't seen any tweets yet, but it's also, I'm sure it's going to happen soon. They're not going to, I don't think it happens tomorrow. I think it's going to happen today. AHFC, single worst Gase moment. Man, I would say for me, it was the first press conference. That, I didn't like Gase when we hired him. That absolutely got me so angry. And then watching the press conference, I was like, God damn it, we're going to have this guy at least 2 years. They're not going to fire him after 1 year. And now we're just a laughing stock. I want someone, talking to the media isn't everything. Belichick's not a good person to talk to the media to, but I don't want to be embarrassed by my head coach and his tendency to just suck balls. This guy's terrible. So I would say the press conference. I mean, beating the Rams. I wish I could have enjoyed those 2 wins this year. And now that I've seen a little bit more from Fields and I'm feeling a little bit more confident, I'm at least happy we won a few games, I guess. If we're going to be out of the Trevor Lawrence sweepstakes, I can at least root for some wins. Lame Cactus says, ooh, that's a good thought. If Jacksonville winds up winning today, we get the first pick in the second round. So there are some things to still root for. That is a very good point. Matt Curtis says, we have invested so much for Darnold too. emotionally and like everything. Like you could double down, I guess, like if you wanted to roll with Sam, but it just doesn't tend to work out when you have a quarterback going into his fourth year. The nice thing is, I didn't realize this, his fifth year option doesn't have to be like we don't have to tack on his fifth year option until after the draft. So we could basically go into the draft, and if a team says, we want Sam for 2 years, we think we could fix him, or we want him for 1 year, we could decide basically what we want to do. We could say, okay, with this trade, we're going to exercise his fifth year option, and then he goes to Pittsburgh or something like that. What we get for him, I don't know. I think a third is the least I would take for him. If someone offers like a fourth as the best pick, I probably just bring him back and try to boost his trade value in the preseason like we did with Teddy Bridgewater. Not that we had Teddy before, but we signed Teddy in order to trade him. That was the whole purpose of signing Teddy at that point. Man, I saw a post on Jet Nation. They were talking about how Sam came into the league with an interception. He's leaving the Jets with an interception, and it was really close to happening. If he didn't have, I believe it was, one completion at the end of the game. I started setting up the stream. I kind of walked away from the screen. Close. Real close to having that happen. They should have fired Gase at the 2-minute warning. Oh, that would have been fantastic. I think they'll give him the opportunity to talk to the team and sort of say his piece. The one thing I will say, it doesn't really look like the team has, like the team gave up on Sam. Sorry, not Sam. It doesn't look like the team really gave up on Gase. It just looked like they haven't played well the entire year. so it's like maybe they gave up right, like immediately. Yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna do my my grading for the season for all the different positions, so like a linebacker group, secondary, all that sort of stuff. I'll have that coming out soon. Probably not today, maybe tomorrow. We'll see. I got a few things planned on the docket the next few days. Gase is gone. Drops in with a super chat. Looks like €1 over there. Thank you so much. Much appreciated. He says, I don't know if I guess your name is Gase is gone. it's a good name change. Hopefully it actually winds up happening. Let's see if I can get some of these like actually up on the board. If you send in a super chat, just hang tight. I'll throw them up on the board. Gase is gone. Let's see. Mike Barton says, we made it through, boys. It only gets better from here. That's really the best thing we can look at. Like, we can't get worse, really. Like, I don't see us adding as much talent as we're going to be able to add this offseason and then think we're going to have an easier schedule and lose, 14 games. Like, I would be pretty surprised if that happened. Who knows? We'll see. I think it might be on YouTube on the Jets channel. C Poppy. I don't know what you're talking about. I'm just clicking through stuff in the chat. Leon Hess's ghost. Why settle on a stiff like Fields or Wilson when the quarterback class in 2022 is going to get even better? Leon Hess's ghost. This is why. So in 2017, the New York Jets selected quarterback. Was it 17? No, it was 18. No, sorry, 16. 2016, second-round pick, Christian Hackenberg. Doesn't see a snap all game. The Jets decide to pass on Patrick Mahomes and Deshaun Watson and instead take Jamal Adams because they were looking forward to Sam Darnold, Josh Rosen, Baker Mayfield, Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, like all these quarterbacks that were coming out in the 2018 draft class. Now, hindsight, the Jets gave up their 6th overall pick and 3 second-round picks. So if you want to play the revisionist history, you take Watson or you take Mahomes instead of Jamal. Now, the following year, when you take Sam Darnold, you obviously don't take Sam Darnold. You take Quentin Nelson, the Pro Bowl guard and generational talent at guard. So now you have an offensive line for Patrick Mahomes. And then with those 3 second-round picks, guess what? Dalvin Cook could have been had in the second round that year. And then in the 2019 draft, after you take Quinnen Williams, Now, maybe you're not drafted, say, third overall with Patrick Mahomes, we'll say, but you could have taken DK Metcalf. We didn't have a second-round pick that year. We needed a wide receiver. There's a real good shot we could have taken him. So when you start thinking about why you would pass, why you would hold on to Sam Darnold and forego taking a quarterback, you don't know when you're going to be picking at number 2 again. The last time this happened for the Jets, last time we were this high was 1997. So you're talking 23 years. So if you're willing to wait potentially 23 years to possibly get another quarterback like this, I'm not about it. I think the smart move, the wise move, is to pull the trigger on the quarterback with whoever the head coach is. Let them decide. If they really want to run it back with Sam, I think any head coach that comes in and says, I want to run it back with Sam, I think Joe Douglas is going to go to the owners and probably say, like, look, our vision does not match up. I think you're going to have to try and match Douglas's vision for the team. I think he'll allow the interviewee to sort of tell him what's going on, but I think that'll probably be a thought process in his evaluation. Bad Eyesight, thank you so much for the super chat. He says, after the way Tua looked, it wouldn't shock me if Miami went a quarterback at number 3 like the Cardinals did the other year. Something to be mindful of if we trade out. Man, Tua. I can't believe that he has played as poorly as he did. I would say this. They don't look too confident, but I would say they will probably surround him with talent because Flores just made the pick. I don't think they are going to move on from Tua after 1 year after taking him in the top 10. I mean, if you had the first overall pick, or maybe if you really like Justin Fields, I mean, I guess if you really like Kyle Wilson, you can. I don't know if there's a huge difference between Kyle Wilson and Tua at this point, where you might want to, shift where you're paying people. I think they would be better suited taking Sewell at 3. Or if someone offers them enough picks, maybe they trade down and they take a receiver or something like that. I would be pretty surprised if they took a quarterback. Neocane, can't wait for your content all off season long. Much love from Germany. #takeflight. Thank you, Neocane. That means a lot. It really does. Because so it's cool. I'm hopefully closing on a house in the next month or so. Hopefully by February. So before the season really, really ends, which means this whole backdrop going away. Getting a whole room to myself now. I'm not going to be in a one-bedroom apartment anymore. So that's exciting. And then I'm off until March because I work in the golf industry. So there's no golf in the winter. So you will get a bunch of content from me the entire off season. I'm going to try and do some type of video. I would say you'll get 4 to 5 a week. If I could do 7 a week, if I have enough content to really pump that out, I'll do it. But thank you. It really means a lot. It's cool seeing people from around the globe. We had some French people pop in the other day. We got Germany here. I know we've had some Australian guys come in. I think there's a guy from Brazil too that watches, which is kind of neat. Asylum Reaper. I have a Schefter Twitter and a New York Jets Twitter tab open as we speak to get Gase fire news ASAP. Let me know if you guys see the Gase news actually happen. Blow up the chat, because we'll talk about it and we'll do anything. All right, what else we got in here? The future is all. Whoop, not going to show that. That doesn't need to be on the screen. Would you rather Zach Wilson, Justin Fields, or Sam Darnold for the next 10 years? I mean, I would have liked Sam Darnold for the next 10 years. That's not a thing that's going to happen, though. I like Fields. I think Fields, if he shows out against Alabama, I'm going to feel way more confident. I'm still good with taking him at 2 if that's the pick. I think people that compare him to Dwayne Haskins are incredibly lazy and have no judgment, or no accurate judgment, because the two quarterbacks are not really, the same. I mean, I guess they both had big arms, but Fields has way better pocket presence. I think he's just a smarter individual. I would bet he's going to interview really well. So So I would take Fields. I think Fields is going to have a chip on his shoulder, too. That's something that I think is underrated. Like, Jet fans, we are a second-class citizen in our own stadium. Like, that's what kills me the most, is the Giants are seen as the New York team, and the Jets are just sort of the redheaded stepchild. And in this draft, Justin Fields has been talked about as the number 2 quarterback basically since he came into college, or at least since he started showing out at Ohio State. So if I'm looking at that, I think there's a better chance for him to get angry and play with a chip on his shoulder, just like Jet fans and just like, like it just feels like there would be a fire in him. Now, arm strength wise, if you're looking at Douglas and you like the speed aspect that he brings, that he likes to bring into the team with Jeff Smith, with Vincent Smith, with Brashad Perriman, with Denzel Mims, like all these really, really fast offensive players. You need someone that can get the ball down the field. Now, Wilson and Fields can both do that. Trevor absolutely has the ability to do it. He's not as good as the other two, but he is definitely, step up from where we've been with Sam Darnold throwing the ball down the field. Sam has struggled pretty poorly, or pretty badly all season with the deep ball. He's had a few nice throws, but by and large, it's been a little ugly. Multiples coming in. What if the Jags take Fields at 1 and the Jets have Wilson and Trevor on the board? That is the easiest pick in the world. You take Trevor Lawrence and you never look back. I think so. I'm torn on this whole Justin Fields at number 1 situation. I think there's some talk that Urban Meyer or Ryan Day, the head coach of the Ohio State Buckeyes, could go to Jacksonville as the new head coach. And then there's thoughts that maybe they would take Justin Fields. With Urban Meyer, I don't necessarily know if I agree with that. If Ryan Day went, I think you could make a strong case for it. There's a shot. I would say there's definitely a shot that the Jags take Fields at 1, especially if he shows out against Alabama. They're both guys that came from Georgia, Trevor and Justin Fields. So the ties are like close, I guess, to that city. I don't know. I don't see it. If the Jets have the easiest pick in the draft, because all you have to do is take whoever the Jags don't take, and I think you're probably fine. I do not think that Sewell is going to be the pick. I think the Adam Schefter tweet earlier today that just said, Joe Douglas is going to make a huge trade this offseason. That trade is either going to be trading down from 2 or Sam Darnold. So if you're saying, okay, Sam Darnold is going to stay the quarterback, they're not staying at 2. That number 2 pick is so valuable. You don't take another tackle. You move down and you just add a bunch of assets. That said, I think we're taking the quarterback. We're going to move Sam Darnold and we're going to trade him to a team like the Steelers. I think you could see if the prices are similar on what our trade value is going to get, like within a few picks. I think you'll see them ask Sam where he would like to go, because like let's say the 49ers offer a 3rd-round pick, the Steelers offer a 3rd-round pick, and then like the Colts offer a 3rd-round pick. I don't know where all those teams are picking right now, but I would say the 49ers might be where he wants to go, kind of go back to the West Coast. I don't know. It's interesting to talk about. We're going to have a lot of discussion about this throughout the offseason. Brendan McAllen, hello from Ireland. A miserable place to be a miserable Jets fan. Appreciate the content all season. Are you leaning Fields or Wilson for the draft? I fall in the same sort of vein as O'Leary. He has Fields as his number 3 quarterback. I have Fields as my number 2 quarterback right now, but both of us are very happy with either one of them. I think I'm excited either way. I'm going to trust Joe Douglas's opinion on this, because I'm obviously not a scout. I could tell you like certain opinions and things that I think I see, but if I was actually a scout, I wouldn't be doing this. I would be doing something else. I would say this. I would take Fields just because he's played at the bigger program. The strength of schedule for BYU was like 66th, I think. I'm pretty sure both Ohio State and Clemson were both in the top 10. And then we just watched what he did to Clemson's defense. If he does that against Alabama, I think it's a no-brainer. I would be pretty shocked. Not to mention he's big. They're both listed at 6'3". I don't think Wilson's going to come in at 6'3" at the combine. I also don't think he's going to come in at 210, 210 or whatever he is. Justin Fields is like 235. Don't underestimate weight. The shot he took from that linebacker where he got injured and he hurt his ribs, that's going to be the NFL like all the time. So you need a bigger body to sort of endure some of those hits. So with Wilson, I'm worried about the injury history. He's had surgery on his torn labrum twice, one on his left shoulder, one on his right shoulder. He's also had an injury to his throwing hand. I think injury is definitely a concern with Wilson, where I don't know if that's the case with Fields. It seems like he's a pretty tough guy. Like him getting cracked in the ribs, and then he only missed one play and came back in. Like that guy is impressive. That is some grit. That is some toughness. And I think players see that. And there's part of me when I look at Wilson that sort of is concerned that he may not be able to relate to a lot of players. And maybe that's not an issue at all. As long as you're slinging the ball all over, they may not care. But I think it appears like Wilson had a very kind of privileged upbringing, if you will. And I mean, Fields definitely could have had it as well. I have not dug in deep enough into Fields, but I have dug into Wilson. He seems like such a nice kid. He interviews really well. I really liked his post game after the UCF game. I think he's going to be good. I do like that BYU and Ohio State, they're both, I guess, colder weather, if you will. I think that should be looked at. Like Trevor Lawrence playing in, South Carolina is where Clemson is. Warmer weather. I think he'll be fine. It's not like he's going to have small hands. He's going to measure out fine. But one of the reasons that Sam was sort of held to a... There was some concern with Sam in the cold weather and how warm weather quarterbacks handle cold weather. Sam threw at his pro day in the pouring rain, and I think he was fine. And even his throws in cold weather, I didn't think they were lacking velocity or anything. I would say he's lacking probably a little accuracy, but that's kind of what we've seen from him throughout that whole time. What else are you guys talking about in here? Caden asks, Ryan, will Gase be fired tonight or tomorrow morning? I think he's going to be fired today, unless they let him do his post-game press conference, address the team, and then fire him tomorrow, so that way he's not being hounded with like questions and reporters. I don't know. It's interesting. Dino Nuggy Man. Ugh, I love dinos. I love chicken nuggets. We would be incredibly foolish not to take Fields. I think we'd be incredibly foolish not to take a quarterback. It doesn't necessarily have to be Fields for me. I really like Wilson. I would say Trey Lance is not the quarterback I would look to take at all because of the 17 starts. He's really going to be a fascinating prospect. I think he should go somewhere like an Atlanta or possibly a San Francisco and sit for a year and just sort of learn the system, because I think he has the potential to be really good. I just don't know if we're the right situation for that type of quarterback. But yeah, I think the Jets should take a quarterback for sure. Breaking news, per report by Adam Schefter, the Jets are interested in hiring Josh McDaniels. That's not going to be true. I mean, maybe it is. Who knows? If it's actually there, I would be surprised. I don't think the Jets will have any interest at all in hiring Josh McDaniels because of what he did to the Indianapolis Colts. When he hired all his coaching staff and then dipped out on them, I thought that was the worst, most scumbaggy move he could possibly make. He's a piece of shit, and I don't want him anywhere near this organization. Bowie Jet says, Wilson is so fluid and fun to watch. He really is. He's got... I would say both of them are, though. I would say Wilson they both had a lot of time in the pocket. I don't know, it's going to be fascinating to watch. I really want to see all these different draft reports. I want to see the combine. I want to see how everyone sort of like test out and grade out. The interview process is what I think is more interesting than more of the metrics. Although I do think the 10-inch hand, or is it 9.5-inch hand? I think it's 9.5-inch hand, is a big benchmark for quarterbacks at the combine, because there's only been like 2 or 3 quarterbacks with sub 9.5-inch hands that have actually like worked out in the NFL. It's one of those weird sort of metrics that people don't talk about. I mean, they talk about it at the combine, but people don't really talk about it like when we're evaluating guys, like watching their college tape and stuff. Bad eyesight. Hypothetical. Who says no? Number 2 and a 3rd round pick for Watson. I really like Deshaun Watson. How much would that be a kick in the balls if we could have had him at 6 and then we have to give up the number 2 overall pick and a 3rd to get him on a huge contract? I don't think he's leaving. I think Watson is staying in Houston. The quarterback position is so hard to get right, and they hit the nail on the head. He's a top 5 quarterback. So if you're telling me I could take a top 5 quarterback for the number 2 overall pick and a 3rd round pick, yeah, I'm going to do that. But I don't think that'll be the case. I think the Jets will take Fields. They'll try to turn Fields into what Watson could be. But in this hypothetical situation, I would absolutely take the top 5 quarterback. That is a no-brainer on my end. Tips Minecraft says, what happened today with 77? Mekhi Becton. He went down with an ankle injury pretty early in the game. I want to say it was the 1st or 2nd quarter. I don't remember. I actually fell asleep during the game for like 10 minutes or 10 minutes of game time, so probably like a half hour. Not good. This was a pretty snooze fest of a game. Paul D, did anyone see the report that the Johnsons are interested in Brian Schottenheimer as the Jets' next head coach? I did see that. I believe that was from, who did I see that? Was that Tom Tessitore or Tom, whatever the frig his name is, from NFL Network? I would say this. I do not want Brian Schottenheimer. I know he could be a hot name because he's with the Seahawks. He was with the Jets for, God, it had to be close to 10 years. Maybe not 10 years, but he was there for a long time. He failed to develop multiple quarterbacks. He failed to develop Sanchez. He failed to develop Bradford. I would not touch him at all. I don't think he's a good head. He could be a head coach somewhere maybe, but I don't think I would not touch him. I don't think he can develop a quarterback, which is what the Jets really need more than anything else. We'll see. I would not touch him, though. Matthew, what are your thoughts on possibly bringing back Rex Ryan? Let's do it! Bring me back some sexy Rexy. I got a bear behind me. It's a lion, actually. She's standing on top of Pride Rock or whatever, overlooking everything you could see. Is yours. You will rule over that. No, seriously, with Rex Ryan, I would love Rex Ryan in some type of role, but I think if you were to bring him in, he would conflict with whoever the head coach is. Like, I would not bring him back as the head coach. I think his time's done. I could see Wink Martindale, the defensive coordinator from the Ravens, come in. He's got a very good demeanor about him. I watched a few interviews with him, and he's got the defense playing really well down in Baltimore. Obviously, Joe Douglas connection. So if we were to look at someone closer to a Rex route, I think it would be Martindale. But I don't see that happening. I think the Jets are going to go with. I really think they're going to go after Greg Roman. I don't want Greg Roman as my first choice. I don't think he's definitely not my least favorite choice. I do like him, but I would say I very much would like to look at like Brian Daboll or a head coach in college. Let's see, what else are you guys talking about? Motivated T reports about Zach Wilson's character issues. I saw something on that, and I saw a lot of people come back and say that's not the case. That's not. He doesn't have the character issues that people are saying. Now we'll find out more come draft time, and when they really start digging into him, we'll hear the nitty gritty. But I would bet he's. If you're asking me, I would think he's probably a little cocky. But with a quarterback, you kind of have to be. I'm okay with cocky. I was okay with Baker Mayfield if he would have come here. Now I think he's a way better mannered individual than Baker. Like, Baker was such an asshole coming out. And it was kind of like a nice, fun, brash sort of player that I think would have, I don't know if he would thrive in New York, but he would have made it interesting for sure. I think Wilson's character concerns are a little overblown, and I wouldn't read too much into it unless we start really hearing some things come draft time. Vinny says, after number 2, Justin Fields, take LSU wide receiver Marshall Jr., offensive lineman Wyatt Davis, or offensive lineman Creed Humphreys. I would like to not take a wide receiver in the first round of this draft. And I know my original mock draft halfway through the season had a wide receiver in that spot, but I think there's so many good wide receivers that are hitting free agency, and we have so much money, and every other team does not have a lot of money, that it would benefit us to draft a position you can't get in free agency. Like get a Kenny Galladay, get a Chris Godwin, a Allen Robinson, Corey Davis, Curtis Samuel. Take your pick. There's going to be a bunch of guys that are hitting the free agent market. At that later pick in the first round, I'm definitely looking. Wyatt Davis is the popular name. He's ranked definitely higher than mid-20s. So if he falls there, I think that would be the pick for sure. We need a guard. Creed Humphreys is projected to be there. That might be the pick I'd make. He's a center also. Like, he is a center. So what's nice is we could slide McGovern over to guard, or Humphreys could be guard for a year, and you can kind of take your time sort of figuring it out. So that's my thoughts there. ARJL880. How much do you think we can get for Darnold with the season he just put on tape? The nice thing is Gase has fucked up so many people over his career that, like, people are sort of banking on the fact that it's Gase's issue, not Sam's issue. I've heard a lot of people are really high on Sam. I think, would I give up a second-round pick for Sam? It probably depends on where I am. Like, if I'm the Steelers, if I'm the Colts, and I'm picking at the back end of round 2, and we know we're going to need a quarterback, I would do it. I would trade the second-round pick and just hope I could fix him and hope you can get like a Ryan Tannehill type situation going on. Now, that said, with the Jets being so high in the draft, would I give up the Jets second-round pick? That's an obvious no. I would say third-round pick is the floor, with second-round pick likely, and then maybe an off-shot chance at a first-round pick. I mean, I don't think we're getting a first-round pick, but I could see the Steelers wanting to maybe exercise that fifth-year option, letting Sam sit behind Ben for one more season, and then seeing if he can play. It's interesting. It's really interesting. We're definitely going to trade Sam. Let's see. You won't need the Just End the Suffering t-shirts anymore. The nice thing about the Just End the Suffering t-shirts is, from a statistical standpoint, our entire franchise history, outside of like 10 years, has been a Just End the Suffering type of situation. So I think that's going to be able to roll into the future. I don't think I'll need to get rid of that shirt for a while. But hopefully I can make some really cool ones. I actually just put out a division rivalry shirt, or multiple shirts, on jetstalk.com. There's, I haven't really like made it overly public yet or tried to push them, but there's a Squish the Fish shirt for Miami. There's a hunting season open for Buffalo, and there's a New England Asterisks shirt for New England. So I'll eventually give those away once we have a little bit more pizzazz and fire. It's been a tough season to get, explosive. Not explosive, but get like excited about different things. We give up that capital, then have to pay $40 million per year. Not a good rebuild year. I think you're talking about Watson. Maybe, is that what you're talking about? I'm pretty sure. Let's see. I think Vinny had a comment in here. Yeah, Vinny. After number 2, wide receiver, O-line, Najee Harris with the next pick. So you're saying in the second round. If I'm going quarterback at, number 2, and then guard or edge rusher with that next pick in the first round, then I would say the second round pick, I would prefer us to go with an edge rusher or an interior offensive lineman. Basically, edge, corner, offensive lineman are kind of the 3 I'm looking at. I wouldn't be upset with a tight end. I would like to run Herndon back with a different offensive system. I think he just kind of got screwed on like not knowing what the hell is going on with Adam Gase. He sort of sucks. We'll see. Eliu Hey, Ryan, I'm from Israel, and I love all your videos. Keep it up. Keep your chin up. He'll get better after we draft Fields or Wilson. Thank you, Eli. That means a lot. I got fans all over the place. Yeah, Jet fans all over the world. It's great. It's nice. I didn't realize like how hard it is to get Jets information outside of like the tri-state area and where they're really talking about it all the time. Um, so I'm glad I could provide some sort of entertainment. If I could take your mind off what's going on, you know, in your life for 5-10 minutes, and I can crack a smile, or I could get just a little entertainment your way, that makes me feel really good. So that's a really nice comment. Thank you very much. Mike Shannis, who is the dark horse candidate out there for head coach, I'm assuming, right? Dark horse candidate. I would say I don't like it, but I shouldn't say I don't like it, but I heard rumors of like the Florida head coach. I wasn't really looking that route. I would like to get someone else, but I'm good with whoever Joe Douglas picks. As long as Joe Douglas is in charge of this decision, I kind of trust him not to screw it up. Big Robbie saying, so which coach is your favorite or best for us? It kind of depends on what Joe Douglas's vision of this team is going to be. I think it's going to be someone that he knows relatively well. Like, I think gut feeling, it's either going to be, or maybe someone that the organization knows well. So I think Brian Daboll was our quarterback coach under Mangini. I could see him being a possibility. That would be my number one. I would say number two, most likely, would be Greg Roman, because he's an offensive-minded head coach. He's had success working with other quarterbacks in the past, really efficient offenses. And then I guess Wink Martindale would be the other one. I didn't really see Wink as being the option. I didn't think we'd go defensive head coach, but I don't know. Joe Douglas definitely knows way more than I do about Wink Martindale, so I wouldn't hate that one either. Let's see. Ace J says Brady plus Fields or Wilson, then sign Chris Godwin. I really want Chris Godwin. That would be the one that I really would like us to get. I like Allen Robinson too. I think he's a legit number one, but I think Chris Godwin's a lot younger, has a lot of upside left. Rich Ritter asks, is Bieniemy out of the question? I think Bieniemy's probably out of the... Well, I hope he's out of the question. I think he's going to Houston. I don't really love the Bieniemy hire. That screams to me kind of like Adam Gase. Like, Adam Gase got all his success from working under Peyton Manning and having just a historic year. With Bieniemy, he's had 3 years as offensive coordinator working under Andy Reid, who's a historic offensive play caller, and having Patrick Mahomes there as well. So Patrick Mahomes for 3 years is going to make you look pretty good, especially with those weapons. I like Mike Kafka personally, the quarterback's coach. He was actually in charge of calling the Week 17 game when Alex Smith sat out to rest for the playoffs and they played Patrick Mahomes for the first time. He was in charge of setting up the game plan because everyone else was focused on the playoffs at that point because they had nothing to play for. So I think Kafka is the guy that's kind of calling the shots. And there's a reason why the Chiefs prevented the Eagles from hiring Kafka as the offensive coordinator last year, and I think it's because they would rather have Bieniemy leave and bring Kafka up than the other way around. I think if you're going to want Kafka, you're going to have to offer him a not first round pick, a head coaching position. And I don't think he's ready just yet for that. I think I like him, but we're kind of in a weird spot. I think next year or the year after might be the year he kind of gets his shot. I think Brady could be a similar, like Joe Brady from Carolina. He's either going to get a head coaching gig right now and it's going to be a little too early and he'll kind of have to learn on the fly, or he'll have to, I don't know. It'll be weird. I don't think Bieniemy will come here though. I think he's going to Houston. Let's see. What did I see? Let me just find that super chat for you. Sorry. All right. Ghost says, Ryan, what's up, bro? Are you concerned about Becton already becoming injury prone? The ankle is a little concerning to me. The rest of it has all been upper body. I think the lower body injuries, especially if they're soft tissue, I think is more of a concern. Am I concerned with Becton? Yeah, I mean, I definitely am. There's definitely a reason to be concerned if he's missing as much time as he had, because D'Brickashaw, I don't think he missed a snap, or maybe he missed one snap, but it was like a trick play. So we were very, very lucky with how we were able to kind of have success with D'Brickashaw Ferguson. So I'm just hoping, as long as Becton gets a full year off season with the training staff and everything, I think he'll be in better shape. I think he'll be able to slide around a little bit easier. I think some of that weight is going to have to come off. I don't know if he should be playing quite at that heavy, but we'll see. ARJL says, have you ever considered doing a collab with Jet Central? Yes, I have, multiple times. I have reached out multiple times to try and get him either on the Talking Jets panel or to just do a collaboration outside of that. We did do a collaboration early on in my my Jets channel. We talked about, it wasn't live or anything, we filmed it, we pre-recorded it, and we were talking about the quarterback options for the Jets. I was on the Baker Mayfield train, he was on the Josh Rosen train, and then both of us were wrong, and then Sam Darnold fell to us, and I think we were both pretty happy there. But yeah, no, it's if you guys want to see Jet Central on this channel, or me on his channel, either one, you're gonna have to, poke him a little bit. It can get him interested, because I've tried. I just haven't been able to make it happen. Let's see. Bob Albro. Until I see the Alabama game, I'm not fully convinced the Jags take Trevor at this point, and at this point they may love both. What about number two and a second for number one? So, Bob, here's my thought process. If we think the Jaguars might take Trevor Lawrence, or if they might take Justin Fields, there is no way in hell that I'm trading with them. I am sticking to my guns. I'm going to sit at number two, and I will take either one of, Fields or Lawrence, whichever one it is. That's who I'm probably taking. And I'm going to force the Jaguars to make the pick. They're going to have to select Justin Fields at number one, and the Jets will get Trevor Lawrence without trading up, because there's no other option. If you don't take Justin Fields at one, if you're Jacksonville, if that's the guy you really like, he's not getting past the Jets. So you can trade out and get your haul for Trevor Lawrence, but you have to like Zach Wilson then, because there's no way is Fields getting past the Jets if he goes if Trevor goes one. So you're gonna have to take Fields at one. Lawrence would then fall to two. So there is no chance that I would trade up at all in the with the first pick. I would absolutely consider trading up with our late second or late first round pick. The second first round pick we have. I don't know where I would move up to, but I think there's definitely there's some room to talk. I think if it's if there's an edge rusher they like, if there's someone that they see that they think they can get up to, maybe I don't know if I wouldn't give up the second round pick though. That's the thing. I would try to move maybe a player or a third round pick, but we'll see. Who knows? What else? Z Good Gaming, what do you think of the Florida head coach? I honestly don't know enough about him. The little bit that I have read, I would say you guys are saying check the Flick chat. What am I trying to check the Flick chat on? You guys talking post-game press conference? I'm not looking at the post-game press conference yet. I'll take a look at that after. I want to sit down and watch the whole thing. What do I think about the Florida head coach? So the Florida head coach was rumored to be interested in the Jets job. I would say I would not be opposed to it if that's what Douglas wants to do. I think from what the very, very little bit that I've read, I have not done enough information. He has turned that team around from where it was when he got there. That said, still do not know enough about him. So I would not be able to make a concrete analysis of that. It really, usually anytime I make a video on a head coaching hire, usually I'll dig in real deep. I have a rough idea of what I'm sort of thinking, but I try to do as much research as I can and come away with an interesting, take, and try to find some little factoids that you guys might find interesting. HJ, what has Darnold showed you that will compare to Wentz? Wentz is more accomplished. Wentz is more accomplished. You got to feel a little bad for Wentz because he was he led that team to the playoffs and got hurt, and then Foles winds up winning the Super Bowl in Philly. So it's like Big Dick Nick is the the quarterback, the guy. I made a video 2 years ago. I think it was 2 years ago. It was right after Philadelphia won the Super Bowl. And I said that Carson Wentz should be traded and they should roll with Nick Foles because Foles is the better fit for that offense than Carson Wentz. And I got chewed out. I said I think there's personality disputes with Carson Wentz. Man, I should be a goddamn fortune teller. I'm pretty dialed in with some of this stuff. Now maybe it was too early probably to trade him then, but his trade value would have been at an all-time high at that point. So who knows? We'll see. What do we got going on in here? Ooh, Judy Montoro, thank you so much for becoming a member of the Jets Talk channel. It means a lot to me. It really does. This is what's going to be cool is I'm going to do something probably for the members of the channel where I give away something it'd probably be each month. I do a bunch of giveaways. So if you guys haven't tuned into a live stream before, I usually do giveaways. You know what? Hold on. Well, let's do a giveaway here. If we can get this video over 200 likes, I'll do a giveaway. I'll give away a shirt that you guys like. But Judy, thank you so much for jumping in and supporting the channel. It really does mean a lot. It's fun to see the little emojis pop up too. I love Matt Curtis. I know has been a member for a long time. Grandpa Mark, all of you guys that have followed it. Seeing the JETS emojis pop up are just a lot of fun. I've really enjoyed that. Carlos B says Brian Daboll or Arthur Smith. I like either one of those guys. I'd be very happy with either one. Daboll's the one I really want because I would like to weaken a division rival. He's been with the Jets as a quarterback coach in the past. The quarterback coach in Buffalo right now, Ken Dorsey, is the offensive coordinator I would like if we get Daboll because he was the he was the quarterback coach when Cam had his MVP season back in Carolina in, 2015, I think. And now Josh Allen's playing like an absolute stud, an MVP caliber there too. So I would absolutely take Glenn Dorsey with Daboll. Not to mention Daboll was the tight ends coach for New England when they drafted Joe Thuney. So maybe there's a situation where there's a familiar face here and, he would like to come in. We'll see. Edward, thank you so much for the super chat. He says, a report came out. Wentz possibly requests a trade. Contract aside, what do you think about a trade? What he could bring to the Jets compared to Sam? I think Wentz is a better quarterback than Sam. So don't get this twisted. But I would say this. I think Carson Wentz is the injury-prone, expensive, bad attitude version of Sam Darnold. That's just my opinion. I think for the Jets, I would not touch him with a 10-foot pole. I don't like that contract. First off, he's getting paid like $25-30 million a year. And it doesn't seem like his teammates, I don't want to say they don't love him, but he just seems to be kind of abrasive. And I don't really like that. Now, Douglas was in Philadelphia when they traded up to get that pick, so I could see the connection there. I would not think that's a great move to make. I'd be pretty upset if we saw that. Now, compared to Sam, I do think he would be better. I think Sam probably holds a little more trade value. I could see them both going for the same draft asset because it's okay, better quarterback, higher contract. If you have a ton of cap space, that makes a lot of sense. If you take Sam, you're betting on potential, and he's really cheap. So I could see the value being pretty similar, but I would not take Wentz. Matt Curtis says just waiting to eject Gase. He used the emoji. I love it. If Olave is there in the third, we have to snag him if Fields is the pick. Isn't that what they did with Haskins too? They took Haskins in the first, and then McLaurin. I think McLaurin was an Ohio State wide receiver. Maybe I'm talking out my ass. I don't really know. I'm all over the place right now. I like Olave. I think we're going to need a deep threat for sure. I don't think we bring back Perriman. I would like to. I don't know. I could live with or without Perriman at this point, but I do think we need a deep threat. I think Will Fuller is going to get a bunch of money. I don't really love that idea. I think he's a little injury prone, but he's someone you could look at, I guess. Fields has a huge arm, so you want the deep threat for sure. Let's see. He says if Jags hire Urban Meyer, he's taking Fields. He wasn't at Ohio State when Fields came over, so there's no real connection there. And I've also heard Urban Meyer say that Trevor Lawrence is the best quarterback in the country. So I would be pretty surprised if they did not go with Trevor Lawrence. Not to mention, like if you're a GM and you're taking a quarterback, if you pull the trigger on Trevor Lawrence, no one's really going to question you. If you pull the trigger on Justin Fields, it could work out like amazingly well, but you are going to be criticized to all hell. Like there is a real shot that he busts and then everything, like you passed on the generational prospect. I don't think you can make that pick. I think Lawrence kind of has to go number one to avoid like that sort of situation. Now that said, the first overall quarterback, you talk about Andrew Luck. Andrew Luck's not the best quarterback in his draft. He just had the highest floor. Russell Wilson's the best quarterback in that draft. You could argue Kirk Cousins, for the longer sustained success still in the league, could be a better pick than Andrew Luck. I think Andrew Luck was a great quarterback if he had stayed healthy and he had been surrounded by talent like the GM did not do there. I think he could have had a shot at being the best in that class. John Elway, taken first overall, was not guaranteed to be the best quarterback. I don't even think he's the best quarterback. I think you could argue that Dan Marino was a better quarterback than John Elway. The idea of the generational quarterback is that it's a very safe floor. So I would say Trevor Lawrence fits a lot of systems and could really, basically whoever your head coach is, you'll be able to find a use for Trevor Lawrence. His floor is really high. I think there's a very low shot that he busts. I think there is some concern with the amount of short plays that he sort of takes advantage of. I don't know if that's more so the Clemson offense and he's more capable of doing more than what they're actually doing with him. He throws a lot of screen passes, a lot of wheel routes. His deep ball, he can throw a good deep ball, but I would say it's not a big strength. I would say Fields and Wilson probably both have a better deep ball than Lawrence. Fields, I could see having a very low floor and a very high ceiling. I think you could argue that his ceiling as a true dual threat quarterback, like he's fast. I think he's going to run he might run a 4.4 40. And if that's the case, and he can take the shots that he's taking, he could be a 6'3" version of Russell Wilson. And if you could get that at number 2, I would do that all day. But again, you're going to have to go through the whole process and see if he's got the mental makeup for it. Do you think he could succeed in New York City or New Jersey, whatever? What else are we talking about in here? Bam, Judy coming up with super chat after being a member. Thank you so much. If we draft Fields, I do not have the patience to wait 3 years for him to develop. Does that make sense? It's interesting. So if I'm guessing, if you don't want to take the quarterback at 2, the nice thing is college quarterbacks aren't really taking that long to develop. Like Kyler Murray looks pretty good. He's in year 2. Year 1, Justin Herbert looks legit. Tua not looking so great. Burrow was looking pretty good. They just didn't really have a team around him. He had no offensive line. I don't think it's going to take 3 years to develop Fields. I think what's really cool with him is you can lean on the run option. Like the RPO is something that I think whoever comes in should absolutely run. So Greg Roman makes a ton of sense if you bring him in. And I don't think you're going to have to wait 3 years for him to develop. I really don't. Seth Boyardee. Is that like Chef Boyardee? He says, why not build around Sam Darnold realistically? So the rationale for Sam Darnold, and it's not that, like, he's got the personality, he can make the throws. The issue is really the contract and the fact that you're bringing in a head coach that is going to want to bring in his own guy. Like, Douglas didn't draft Sam. He came here because of Sam and because of Gase. But I don't think that a new head coach coming in, think about your own job. If you're in your own job and you have a new boss and then you get another new boss, you kind of had allegiance to like the first guy. Now that was 1 year into his career, so Bowles is gone. Now he gets the quarterback coach. Now you're on your second guy. Now you get a third head coach, and it sort of gets tiring. Like, you almost want a fresh start at that point. So I don't think Sam, he's saying all the right things, but I think the smart move is to trade him, let the new head coach make his quarterback selection. How often do you get an opportunity where you get the GM, the head coach, and the quarterback all on the same page right off the bat, and they're all moving towards the same goal with the quarterback clock ticking at the right time? So I would draft the quarterback. I think it makes a lot more sense than rolling with Sam. As much as I like Sam, and I want to see Sam play well wherever he goes. I really, really do. I hope he does well. I hope he goes to the Saints, because I like the Saints a lot, and I would love to get one of their expensive, not expensive, but one of their guys that are going into the last year of their contract, because they're so far over the cap. So guys like Marshawn Lattimore, the cornerback, he had a down year this year. Maybe you can kind of swing him for a pick, or Sam rather, or the right tackle. I really like him, because they're going to have to cut a ton of players. They're going to have to cut like almost their entire team just to get under the salary cap. Kev Tag, thank you so much for the super chat. It was a super sticker. I'm pretty sure it was the little pound guy, right? It was, fist bump. Bop, bop. Thank you so much. Pirlo says, Fields, big arm, mobile, can stay in the pocket long at times, feels like Watson. Yeah, I was not high on Watson when he came out, and now watching this, especially if this kid wins the national championship, I would very much like him. I think he's a gamer. I think that I really like the true dual threat quarterback. Now I do want to see him slide a little bit more. I don't want to see him take the shot that he took in the major, in the semifinal, or I guess semifinals of the college playoffs. That was a big shot, but he showed a lot of grit. I think he's a really, really exciting player to have. Hey, Joseph, if you miss on a first-round quarterback, it's a 5-year mistake. Yes, that's why this is so important. You could say, I don't know if you say we missed on Sam Darnold. I think you can argue it for sure. He has been arguably the worst quarterback in the league since he's been drafted. And having the first 5-year mistake. So if you're saying we wasted 3 years, you can argue we wasted the year before, because we were looking forward to drafting a quarterback in the 2018 draft. So the year before, where we took Jamal, wasted season, then like the 4 years here, and then like maybe grooming a rookie quarterback. That's like a 5-year mistake right there. It's a pain in the butt. But that said, you have to take. I think you should take a quarterback in the first round, because the quarterbacks in the after the first round a lot of times do not work out. How rare are they? You got Brady in the 6th round, Wilson in the 3rd round. I think Cousins was a 3rd or 4th round pick. So there are some people that do hit that late, but it does not happen frequently. Look at the majority of quarterbacks taken outside of the 1st round and find how many are actually like good quarterbacks. There's not too many. Like high end of the 2nd round, like where we are picking, you could argue. But is Sam Darnold that much worse than a Kyle Trask or a Mac Jones? Like, I would rather, at that point, if you're going to look at a 2nd-round quarterback, I'd rather roll it back with Sam and take a quarterback the next year. But I don't think that's what's going to be the case. I think we're definitely going to take a quarterback early in this draft. Neocane says, oh, no, Neocane became a new member. Thank you so much, Neocane. If you're in the chat right now, drop some JETS emojis. I want to see it. I love seeing the JETS emojis. Where are we at in terms of likes on this video? We got 148 likes. If you guys get this up over 200 likes, I'll raffle off a shirt. Someone's going to get a Just End the Suffering shirt, or if you want one of the division rival shirts, I can give you one of those. But yeah, give me a little love right there. There's a JETS Neocane. I love it. I love the JETS. Oh, it's so good. Trade Darnold to Washington. Rivera will make a man out of him. I really like Ron Rivera. I think he's one of the better coaches in this league. I think he was very smart in getting rid of Haskins. I think he was just a cancer on that team, and I think you got to make sure everyone's moving in the right direction. I would be fine if he went to Washington. I don't particularly like Washington. So I guess if we get a draft pick, it's going to be a pretty good draft pick from him. But I don't know. I would like him to go to a team that I enjoy a little bit more, like the Saints, the 49ers. I don't really want to see him in the Steelers. I would prefer he probably goes to like an NFC team, but we'll see. How many Sams do you need to change a light bulb? Robbie says, if Fields wins the national championship, why wouldn't he go first overall? So there are a few interesting thoughts on this. If you like Fields and he becomes a national champion, then it just sort of reconfirms that, and I think that makes a lot of sense. But then I think if you have someone like what the hell's his name? Vince Young, who wins the national championship, looks really good doing it. It was electric. That was a great national championship game. I was rooting for USC, but just because you win a national championship doesn't mean you make a great quarterback. Like Sam in the Rose Bowl against, what was it, Penn State, had like 5 touchdowns and looked fantastic. And we haven't really seen that since, he got here outside of maybe year 1. Kevin Tagg becoming a member of the channel. Thank you, brother. Absolutely love it. Boys, let's see some JETS. Kevin Tagg, drop some JETS in there. I love seeing the JETS. Those are just makes me feel good. I love seeing it. Love seeing it, boys. Thanks for Jamal Adams, the first-round picks we gave. Who cares? High first-round picks. He's a beast, says Tyler Paul. Look, I think both teams are probably going to wind up doing well from that trade. Like, the Jets needed the picks. I did not want to hold on to Jamal long-term. I don't think he was a right fit for us. That said, I don't think there's enough. It's going to be interesting because are you signing Jamal, the linebacker who's getting a bunch of sacks, or are you signing Jamal as a safety who's just, not getting any interceptions? He's got 2 interceptions in his career against backup quarterbacks too. So it's like, what do you want him for? He's almost like more of a Mark Barron linebacker, keep him near the line of scrimmage, and there's value in that. Like, you have to account for him every time he's near the line of scrimmage. The way he blitzes is just really impressive. So we'll see. Trade Darnold to San Francisco. Him and Shanahan would work together. Yeah, I think Shanahan's one of the best offensive minds in the league. I think he would be a really, really good option for the prospects of where he could really go. I like that option a whole lot. Jorge Reyes says, so did they fire Gase yet? I haven't seen them fire Gase yet. If you guys see Gase get fired, absolutely let me know, because I would like to be a part of this conversation, and I'm not paying attention to all the on everything. Neocane says, how to contact you on Discord for the graphics and stuff. You'll see me in the Discord. If you click on the Jets Discord, I donate to the Jets Discord every month. So my name's kind of up in the top as a guy that donates to it, I guess. So you can just click on that and you can send me a message and I'll show you how to do it. I have a lot of graphics. I haven't put too many up there recently, but I have to throw some more up there. All right, what else? We got some more questions in here. We got this. Vojnik has become a member of the channel. Thank you so much, dude. Really means a lot. I want to see some JETS in there. Oh, feels good. Oh, and I think I see another member in there. Where'd he go? My boy, Jay Squalls. Jay Squalls, give this man a follow. If you guys are on Twitch at all, Jay Squalls is really, really good at Call of Duty, and he's just a character of a guy. He really is. He's a little bit of a lunatic, but he's a lot of fun. So thank you so much for becoming a member of the channel, Josh. I see him with the JETS WTF, LOL. We got some good emojis in there. Neo Kane, JETS, JETS. I love it. It gets me excited, gets me jazzed up. All right, let's see. What else you guys talking about in here? Joe Douglas is not a high-priced guy. He will not sign any high-priced free agents, including Robinson. I think he will sign Joe Thuney. Joe Thuney, the left guard for the Patriots, has committed 3 penalties in the last 2 seasons, hasn't missed a start, and can play every position across the offensive line. I think we could throw $18 to $20 million a year at him to get him here. I really do. I think Joe Douglas will break bank for that. I think wide receiver, you are right. I don't think Joe Douglas is the type of guy to spend that kind of money on Robinson. I think he'll go a little bit more bargain bin shopping. I don't say bargain bin, but I think someone like Corey Davis, who's really showed out this year, or Curtis Samuel, might be a little bit of a kind of dual threat running receiving option that I think he could look at. I don't know. I would like Godwin. Godwin's kind of the guy that I would really like to get if we're not getting Robinson. Galladay's another one I really like as well. Unpopular scenario. Oh, let's see this. What are you talking about here? What if our grading on Fields and Wilson are fairly close? Do you think the Jets could possibly trade back a few spots to a team looking to grab Fields while we gain a few assets? I would hope that our grading is not too close. But if it is, hypothetically, you have to be really careful. So Atlanta at number 4, if that's where they're sitting, we'll have to see at the end of today's games where everything sort of shakes out. But if Atlanta's at 4 and Atlanta wants Fields, and they're going to give us, say, a first-round pick next year, and you kind of like Wilson anyway, then, yeah, maybe a move down to 4. I don't see Miami taking Wilson. I think they'll take Sewell. I would not trade further down than 4 if we're going down, unless we're not taking a quarterback. If we're not taking a quarterback, then whatever, I guess. But I would not. I think you don't get cute when you're trying to draft a quarterback. Picking the right guy is more important than picking a guy that you just kind of like and getting an extra like second or first round pick because of it. Let's see. Asylum Reaper says 420 watching. And we need 26 more likes. Come on, guys. I think we need 27. Someone must have disliked it. But yeah, guys, drop a like. Or no, not math, 17. Wow, I'm terrible at this whole thing. Sorry. Yeah, get some likes on this video, and let's give away a shirt. I'm going to give away I'll give away a shirt of your choosing for the most part. It'll be one of the division rival shirts, or it'll be a Just End the Suffering shirt. So we'll see. Matt Curtis says, I love the stream and content with a little love button. The love emoji. Thank you so much, dude. He's one of the first guys that signed up for a membership. I would say him, Mumtaz was early on. Grandpa Mark was early on. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. What do you think positive? What do you think? Possible or completely impossible? Positives or negatives? What are you talking about? So the potentially leaving Wilson a year to develop or battle for quarterback 1 while Sam. See what we have in both. I don't think you can hold on to Sam. I would think Sam is probably, it's best for both to sort of split ways and not divide the fan base and not divide the locker room. I would be pretty upset. All right, we're over 200 people. So let's figure out, how do I want to give away a shirt? Let's do this. Let's say, so in the description down below, there's a link to the Flick chat. All you have to do is answer this question. So I'm gonna post a question right now. Are you happy Gase is getting fired? We're gonna do that. So are you happy Gase is getting fired? I'm gonna say yes. No. Sorry. I should have done this prior to coming on the air, but that's not how it happened, so sorry. All right, so the poll is now up. If you click on the Flick chat, all you have to do is vote on the poll question. Oh, no, maybe it didn't go through. Sorry about that. I will get this up. Let me get a poll question up. I'll put Gase getting fired. Gase getting fired, question mark. Yes, No. All you have to do is vote in that poll question if it actually pops up. Or maybe my computer's just like crying right now. That's possible too. All right, so new thing. All you have to do is follow the Flick Chat. For some reason, I can't get the poll question working. So go into the description down below. Just click on the poll. Click on the Flick Chat. Join the Flick Chat. It's free. It doesn't cost you anything. It's actually a fun way to kind of get in contact with me. I'm also on the Discord too, so you can kind of reach out to me either way. But the Flick Chat we can have some fun with. Thomas says, I love your parents' house. I don't live in my parents' house. I live in my own apartment. But I'm moving out, hopefully, in the next month, which is nice. We're hopefully closing on a house, so that'll be exciting. Jeff Locke, thank you so much for the super chat. He says, I still haven't figured out our tree, so I'll do my own. Our tree? Chat? LOL? JETS, Jets. Thank you, dude. Thank you, Jeff. If you want to get the JETS emojis, all you have to do is become a member of the channel. That'll pop up. But thank you so much for the super chat. It really does mean a lot. Joseph Stalin says Gase to the gulag. Yeah, okay. Let's send him to the gulag. I don't want him coming back though. I want to make sure he's dealing with shotguns only. We're not giving him assault rifles where he could possibly get out. Let's make sure he doesn't come back from the gulag. Still think Mac Jones being overlooked hard. Almost 80% completion rate. He could be a game manager at worst, and best a competent pocket passer like Matt Ryan. See, that's not a ringing endorsement for Mac Jones, in my opinion. I like Mac Jones to an extent, but I think he actually is a quarterback I could see the Steelers taking and sort of letting him sit behind a line, because he's just got such a good offensive line. He's got the best weapons in college football. He's got one of the best running backs in college football. It's easy to look good when you're that good. So that's the concern with Mac Jones, I think, for me. Eli. Words. Hey, Ryan, who do you think is going to be the Jets offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator for next year? Defensive coordinator, I would like Leonard Williams. He's the defensive coordinator for the Wisconsin Badgers? Yeah, Wisconsin. Oh, whatever. Wisconsin. And then he was our safety under Rex for 2-3 years during that stretch. So I really like him. I think he's a good dude. He called the defense for us. So I would like to get him as DC. Or maybe Aaron Glenn, the secondary coach from the Saints, would be a cool option. Maybe you can sneak in with maybe a Marshawn Lattimore trade or something like that. Bring him up from the Saints. I also like offensive coordinator-wise. I really like Ken Dorsey. Ken Dorsey was the quarterback coach in Carolina when Cam won his MVP. He's the quarterback coach in Buffalo right now under Brian Daboll. If you are looking to maybe not take Daboll as the offensive coordinator and he stays in Buffalo, then maybe you could pull him over. You guys said Leonard Williams. Sorry, Jim Leonard. Jim Leonard is the defensive coordinator from Wisconsin. Jesus Christ. Oh, God, guys, I'm cooked. You knew what I meant. Jim Leonard is the defensive coordinator. But Ken Dorsey he was the quarterback coach for Carolina when Cam won his MVP, and he was the quarterback coach for Buffalo when Allen's just absolutely going off this year. So I really like that. Jets fan says, Ryan, you're the type of guy I want to take to lunch and just listen to you talk about football. Becca would disagree wholeheartedly. She's just like, you take me out for lunch, you better not pick up your phone. You better not talk about football. I'm so done with this. She gets on my case a little bit with talking football so much. But yeah, I could just ramble on and on. I have a few tinfoil hat theories on things that I think are interesting, and some of them actually wind up, I don't want to say coming true. Yeah, I don't know. Whatever. How can we win a shirt, says Nick. Nick, all you have to do is join the Flick Chat. It's down in the description down below. I'm going to raffle off a shirt. Oh, wait, it did come in. Okay, cool. So the poll question's up. All you have to do is vote. Gase getting fired. It's 100% yes. Yeah, so if you guys... I guess there's 2 poll questions. So there's 2 poll questions up. Damn. Oh, I hit the lamp. Oh, shit. Oh, man. Sorry. Yeah, so if you guys want a shirt, ooh, ow, damn it. If you want to get a shirt, I'm going to raffle off a shirt in the next few minutes. Let's call it 5:45. At 5:45, I'll raffle off a shirt, so I'll give you guys a few more minutes to jump into the Flick chat if you want a shot to get that. But do it. Reach out to me. See what we can get. Ryan says, Zach Wilson is taller than Breeze, Russ, Kyler, Baker. Don't tell me his height is an issue. I don't think his height's an issue. I really don't. I think those quarterbacks have proven that it's not, not as big of a factor. I do like the quarterback being a little bit taller. I think his weight might be a little bit more of a concern. Like, can he take the pounding that he's going to take? Because he is injury prone. Like, you have to be able to say it at this point. He's got 2 torn labrums and the hand. So I don't think it's going to happen. Or I shouldn't say I don't think it's going to happen. I'm concerned about Wilson because of the injury history going into the NFL. We'll see. Nick says, Ryan, I met you down at a beach bar with my boy Mike P. What's up, brother? When was I at a beach bar? I don't remember. But, yeah, nice to meet you. A beach bar. Where would I have been that I would have met someone there? Well, nice to meet you either way. Very cool that I've run into you. I've actually had a few people come up to me, which is kind of neat. If you ever run into me or you think you see me, come up and say hi. I'm a pretty easy person to talk to. I actually had this kid, I think it's Dylan was his name. He came up to me. I was working at a tree farm. I had my mask up like to here and I had a winter hat on. So you're like literally looking at like this right here. And I was a greeter. So I'm like telling people all about the property and everything. And he goes, do you have a YouTube channel? I was like, no friggin' way. How on earth did you tell it was me? And then I had a few, like usually when I go to like a Jets event, like if I go to like the draft party or I don't know if I've ever been noticed. I think I've been noticed at a game once, but yeah, no, it's kind of fun. It's pretty neat. We're actually going to try and get a bunch of Jet YouTubers together. We'll probably try to do some type of excursion to a Jet game. Hopefully we're able to go to them next year. The guys over at Jet Nation do a big group ticket buy. So I think I'll try to get Green Bean, Matt. I'll probably reach out to David, see how he's doing. See if Richie wants to come out. See what we can get. Get some people out there. But yeah, cool. I'm glad I met you, and I hope I wasn't an asshole. I apologize that I don't remember what beach bar. It would have been LBI, I guess, right? So I would think. That's the only beach I go to. I don't know. Pretty cool. TJ Decker says, Ryan, when do you think the news will break? I'm surprised it hasn't broken already. I want it to happen. But we'll see. Who knows? Tony G says, wait, what size is the t-shirt? The nice thing about the t-shirt is, so my store that I have, I make designs. I do all the designing myself, and I'll put it up, and it's through a drop shipper. So I actually don't touch any of these shirts prior to them going out. So if you're a double XL or a small, we can send you a double XL or a small. The shirts are made in like, I think it's like South Carolina or California or something like that, and then they get drop shipped directly to you. So it's basically a way of me having fun with the different designs and things that I can do while not having to shell out a ton of money to have a bunch of shirts in stock in my my house or something like that. So that's what it is. So whatever size shirt it is, you're not going to get something that doesn't fit, or at least isn't your size. So we'll see. Hey Ryan, I just saw that Darnold is 3-10 in divisional games in his career with 9 touchdowns and 21 interceptions. That's horrendous. Ugh. Well, I mean, what do you have? 2 today. He had, I think, 5 last year in the Seeing Ghost game. So that's 8 in 2 games against New England. I don't know where the other interceptions really fall, but that's terrible. Sam's career has been a little rough. We'll call it that. Would you rather us sign a pass rusher in free agency and focus on wide receivers in the draft because this is a wide receiver deep draft, or sign a free agent like Allen Robinson and others? This is a great question, John. Thank you so much for the super chat. I would say this. I want the Jets to sign a wide receiver in free agency. I would be okay with drafting one a little bit later, like maybe taking a 3rd or 4th round flyer on a guy that might have some upside. The thing about drafting a receiver right now, you get the cheap contract, which is nice, but I would like to think that Mims is going to develop. So if you pay a high-priced receiver now, you have another 3 years before you have to pay Mims. So you can basically cut the high-priced free agent, pay Mims, and then draft your next wide receiver then. So you kind of have like a cycle of cheap, expensive, cheap, expensive, cheap, expensive in that kind of route. I also like the idea of bringing in a wide receiver in free agency because that wide receiver should be groomed in the NFL already, and you can have some NFL tape on him. And I think a rookie quarterback coming in, having someone like a Jamison Crowder was so huge for Sam. If you have two guys trying to learn at the same time, a little worried there. One of the ways that the Colts built their franchise, they took, I believe it was Marvin Harrison 2 years before they drafted Peyton Manning. They took the left tackle the year before they drafted Peyton Manning, and they took the edge rusher in the year after. I believe Dwight Freeney was the year after Peyton Manning, or maybe 2 years after, something like that. So I think that's a pretty good model to follow. I think it kind of makes sense. Edge rushers in the draft. Edge rushers, what I'm really looking at, the tail end of the first round. I would like us to hopefully solve our head coach, or not head coaching, our offensive line issues kind of prior to that. I do expect us to take a guard at some point. So we'll see. We will see. Edge rusher is what I really like in that tail end, though. Joseph Stalin, do you international shipping on the shirts, comrade? I think I can. I'll do it. Yeah, I mean, it might. I don't know how long it's going to take to get there. Like I had some people order shirts and they like took a long time to get there. I'd have to take a look. I don't exactly know if it does. I don't think I've had too many go overseas. I might have had like Canada once or something. But yeah, I could try to do it. I don't. Whatever it costs. If you win the raffle, I'll figure out a way to get it there to you. What else are we talking about? God, I hope the Rams lose today and miss the playoffs for screwing up our tank. Says Daryl C. KSE says it's torture hearing Sam in presser. I've watched so many of Sam Darnold's press conferences, and it's brutal. I feel so bad for the guy because he's just such a good kid, and it's just not working out here. Actually, you know what? This is an interesting. Willie LeClaire says, new coach, watch tape on James Morgan, trade the second pick, and get a haul of third and first round. So, fun fact, James Morgan. I brought up Ken Dorsey before. Ken Dorsey's the guy that I want as our offensive coordinator. He's the quarterback coach for Buffalo and was the quarterback coach for Cam Newton in Carolina when he won his MVP. He was actually an assistant athletic director for FIU, the college where James Morgan went. And he was there at the same time. So there is a connection there. I got to make a video about this because I keep saying this in my live streams, but I feel like only like 369 people in the chat right now see it, and then no one else, scrolls to this point in the video. So I have to make a video on that. But that's an interesting. The James Morgan connection, I think, could help us get some of these other guys, which would be kind of nice. This Fodgnick, hello from Australia. Dig the channel. Just got back into the NFL last season. Jets are my team after staying with my family in New York and falling in love with Curtis Martin. Bright future for us. Curtis Martin's one of my favorite players of all time. I would say Curtis Martin, Nick Mangold, and Wayne Corbett are my three favorite Jets of all time. I have a bunch of other favorites too, but those are like the three guys that I really like. I grew up watching Curtis and Wayne. And I'm not the tallest of guys, so Wayne Corbett was always a big idol for me growing up. But hello! I should flip this upside down so that way you can actually see me right side up. Or maybe, you know what it is? You're holding your phone upside down. Smart man. It's because he's down under down there. Everything's upside down. Neil says, I feel that Bryce Hall is solid. We need another solid corner across from him, and we could have a nice duo. Yeah, we need another cornerback really badly. I think Bryce can definitely be a starter. I didn't pay close attention to him this game, I have to admit. So I really have to do a deeper dive on him. We'll probably have Joe Blewett on the show, and we'll have him go over some tape with us because he's really good at breaking down tape. If you guys have not followed Jets X Factor, for Joe Blewett, Robbie Sabo, and Michael Nania, these guys are really good. They do a really good job. That's usually where I go for Jets film breakdown. The quarterback school is also really good. The QB school with JT O'Sullivan, the former 49ers quarterback, I think. He's got some really good production quality on his stuff as well. What else are we talking about? Ooh, Jets fan says, "Hey Ryan, your opinion: trade a fourth for AJ Green or Julio Jones. First round go quarterback and wide receiver. Rest of the picks go defensive. Thoughts?" I would not take a wide receiver in the first round. I've kind of said that a few times throughout the stream, and just sort of like just because I'd like to offset payments and things like that. I would take AJ Green or Julio Jones if it was for that cheap. I would not give up like a high pick for Julio. He's a lot of money. He's injury prone at this point, and he's on the wrong side of 30. He's like 32 years old. Now, if the Jets decide to bring in Marvin Lewis as our defensive coordinator, I would sign AJ Green for a year. Hell yeah. I think Mims and AJ Green play very similarly, and I think Mims would do really well to learn from AJ Green. So I'm all about doing that. You know, if you got to pay him 1 year, $12-13 million, like an overcharge to like get him in here, I would consider doing it, I think. But I don't want that to be our only wide receiver acquisition of the offseason. Like we still need a number one wide receiver. Like Julio and AJ Green for me are not solving our wide receiver problem. It's just sort of assisting with grooming everyone else. Go back to drinking your liberal Starbucks. What the heck's going on? What are you guys yelling about in the chat? I got my beer. Which is definitely getting warm because I'm talking way too much and not drinking. This is tough when I don't have Green Bean and Matt here to just complain and drink while they talk. All right, what else are you guys talking about? Trying to find some interesting questions in here. What are your thoughts on keeping Joe Flacco for another year, drafting Fields or Wilson, and let him sit behind Joe and go from there? You could get me on board with that. I prefer maybe a quarterback that. Well, okay, so here's this. Greg Roman. I don't know if. I guess was Greg Roman there when Flacco was there? I don't know if he was. Now I got to look it up. I think Greg Roman's going to be our head coach. And if he knows Greg Roman's offense, offensive assistant 07, Baltimore 06, 07. I don't know if they overlapped. They may not have. Joe Flacco. I think they did. I think it had to be a year. So he was there till 2018. Yeah, so they were at least together there for 2 years. Yeah, I would say that makes a lot of sense to have Flacco be your starter, at least to start the season, and then you kind of work Fields or Wilson into the starting lineup. You start to see how this offensive line looks because you're going to have some time that you're going to need to let the offensive line gel. You're going to be bringing in guys. So yeah, I would bring back Flacco as a backup quarterback or as a starter to groom a quarterback. I think that's all right. Now I think Flacco wants to start. He's not going to be starting anywhere, so I don't see that being an issue, but I would bring him back. Ryan, do you think we can be competitive next year or still will need another year to rebuild? I think we could be competitive next year for sure. You look at teams that turn around things really fast. We have a lot of cap space. A lot of teams don't have cap space. They're going to have to cut guys. And we have a bunch of draft picks. So that combined with having a now 7th seed in the playoffs makes it more likely that the Jets could turn things around than not. Now the issue is going to be that the AFC is starting to get really, really tough. Between the Bills, the Chiefs, the Ravens, the Steelers, the Browns are playing well. The Titans, like the AFC, it has flipped. The NFC used to be the stronger division, and now the AFC is definitely a lot stronger with multiple teams. So it could be a lot harder to get into the playoffs, but I think with the right moves, the right coach, and the right situations, you can improve. Now, I would say a successful season for next year after seeing what we did this year, if we could get to 6 wins or 7 wins next year, I'd be very happy. Now, that said, if we bring in all the right stuff and everything hits on the right cylinders and we have an easier schedule, which is supposed to happen, anything could happen. You could go on a run and turn it around. I mean, heck, the Dolphins were pretty bad last year. They've turned it around. They won 10 games this year. So I think it can happen for sure, yeah. But I don't know if it's going to be a realistic scenario until 2022 in terms of really, turning this thing around the right way. Rafi says Bill O'Brien or Matt Patricia both suck, but if you had to choose one, who would you want on the Jets? I would take Bill O'Brien, I think, as an offensive coordinator rather than Patricia as a defensive coordinator, because I think Patricia's just kind of a dick. O'Brien is a terrible GM. Like, as long as he doesn't have GM responsibilities, like, he still kind of turned Watson into like a really good quarterback, so I guess I would do that. Oh, you guys are saying it's 5:45. All right, it's 5:45. Let's take a look at the Flick chat. Let's see how many guys we got voted in here. We got close to 200 people in the Flick chat. If you guys want to get in on the Flick chat, get over there. Oh, we got 202 people. Wow, nice. Good stuff. This is going to be fun. You could do some like fantasy games and stuff like that with this. It's actually a pretty good time. All right, so I'm going to pick someone from the Flick chat. I need you guys in the chat to rattle off a number between, let's go 15 and 25. Give me a number between 15 and 25, and then I'll rattle off a name, and then that person just reach out to me in the Flick chat. I'll get you your information. I'll get your information. I'll send you a shirt. 2, Eli. 2 is not between 15 and. All right. Sam Darnold says 14. That's almost like 15. Alex says 19. All right, Alex, you win. We're going to 19. I'm not saying you win the thing, but I'm taking your number to pick the person who's going to win. All right. The winner of today's shirt is going to be the Ghost of David Wright. The Ghost of David Wright. Reach out to me on the Flick chat. I'll send you one of the division rival shirts. I'll send you just in the suffering shirt, something like that, something that you want to, that you like, whatever you want. So shoot me a message in the Flick chat. Reach out to me. I think my name is Your Pilot on the Flick chat, so all you have to do is contact me there. I saw something here. Thomas Sartori says, show us a tour of your apartment. It's really like that. I've got one room. It's this. One room, the kitchen's attached there, and then our bedroom, and that like on the other side of that wall. So really, I'm not seeing a whole lot, but hopefully you're gonna have a house in a month or so. I'll have a whole new backdrop. I've got like lighting equipment that I'm buying. I got all this stuff that I'm like really looking forward to. Like actually, so what's tough with my video quality is I have these huge windows behind me. So huge windows on both sides. The door, we got a skylight up there. So to control light in this apartment is really tough. And I graduated with a film degree, so it's really frustrating that I haven't been able to do this. So I'm really looking forward to having my own space and being able to sort of put everything together the way I'd like to have it put together. And then I have a little backdrop. Like I don't wear a Jet jersey all the time. I wear a Jet jersey all the time on the show because I can't have anything in the background to really like show that this is the Jets channel. Like you want to have someone click on it, like Jets Talk 24/7. Yeah, it's a nice name. You can tell it's Jets, but I don't have a backdrop that really says Jets or anything like that. So I'm looking forward to it. Then I could wear some more normal shirts and stuff and not necessarily... I mean, I guess I could wear normal shirts. I don't know. When I share these videos to like Facebook and stuff, sometimes they autoplay and they don't see the thumbnail all the time. So if I'm not wearing a Jets shirt and you can't tell it's like a Jets thing, some people just like click out of it and they just say, oh, go kick rocks. Or at least that's my thought process. Yeah, so we'll see. All right, guys. I've been live for about an hour and 40 minutes, so my ass is going to go relax. I got to finish my beer. I'm going to have some dinner, and then hopefully I'll be making a Adam Gase is fired video in a really, really short amount of time. So we'll see. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you for all those that hung out in the chat this whole time. Thank you we got 4 new members of the channel, so thank you. That means a lot. Or no, 5 new members. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, 5 new members of the channel. So much appreciated as always. I thank you all so much for the support. And hey guys, thanks for hanging in there. This was a long season, and I know there's not a lot of people searching Jets content when we're not doing well. And it means a lot that you guys were here for the ride, and hopefully this channel continues to grow. I think I'm just short of 11,000 subscribers now. I go back to work in March, so I'm going to try and grow this as fast as I can. the best thing you can do if you want to help the channel grow. Tell a friend, have fun with it. And shoot me a message. I'm always down to talk. I pretty much answer like anyone who reaches out to me. I like talking a little bit. If I'm super busy, I might send like a shorter answer, but I really enjoy it. But guys, thank you so much for everything. I've really had a good time. But this is Jets Talk signing off. Jets.